Hello, everybody. How's it going? I hope you're all having a lovely day. So I just decided to read the actual part of the case here from Customs' website, and I couldn't help myself. This is absolutely hysterical. It says, Customs and Border Patrol officers are protecting the American public from various dangers on a daily basis, said Troy Miller, director of Customs and Border Patrol's New York field operations. The interception of these counterfeit earbuds is a direct reflection of the vigilance and commitment to mission success by our Customs and Border Patrol officers daily. Protecting the American public from various dangers. Here's the problem with this argument, my friends. Here's the problem. I don't think that the people from Customs and Border Patrol have ever used Amazon Prime. Because check this out. Look at this. Right now, it's Wednesday night. And for $24 and free shipping, this could probably get to my place quicker than it takes them to the people at Customs to actually read and realize that what they put here says OnePlus on the side of it. I suppose the part that really just kind of makes me laugh is it's not even necessarily the part where they're talking about it's not even the fact that they have refused to admit that they're wrong. It's not the fact that they took earbuds that you could easily buy, actual knockoffs, from virtually any vendor in the United States. But it's this self-congratulatory crap that I did not read in my last video, and this is hysterical. Customs and Border Patrol officers are protecting the American public from various dangers on a daily basis. Yes, tell me more about the dangers of earplugs, of IEMs that don't sound good. Tell me more about the harshness of the Etymotic ER6, how not having enough bass because you care too much about your treble and your mid-range Etymotic is going to hurt me. I mean, this is just, I can't. This is absolutely fucking hysterical. This is a meme, and I can't believe that this is actually real. Rare Ortiz says, effing idiots. Yes. Yes. They are protecting their job, someone says. I don't think... I mean, the argument... I don't understand how you could say they're protecting your job. I think, if anything, it's the opposite. It shows that job does not need protecting, because you can be so bad at your job and still there's no consequence. You could be this bad at your job and still have a job, and you can actually brag about how bad you are at your job. So you could put on your website, look, I don't know the difference between OnePlus and Apple. I can't tell the difference. And then they can say with a straight face that they're protecting you from various dangers. That's the opposite of caring about your job. That's really showing that you don't have to protect your job in any way, shape, or form. You go, hey, I'm a moron. That's right. And still get paid. It was a joke, Lewis. I don't think it's a joke, though. Is this a joke? Am I getting trolled? Someone linked me this on Discord a while back, but this looks like it's from cbp.gov. This is the website that I'm on. Like, am I missing something? Because this is the Customs and Border Patrol website. You can't just register a .gov domain if you're me. BlackBerry, we're paying attention to Mr. Clinton right now, so I can't pet you. Lewis, the world is a meme. Yes. The fact that U.S. Customs can't tell the difference between a counterfeit product and a real one speaks to the disorganized the U.S. government has become. I think it really speaks to this whole idea that when people say that Customs confiscates something because it definitely is counterfeit, I want to point to this every single time I hear that shit from now on. Like the next time someone points to some Reddit or Apple thread saying, look, they took them because they're counterfeit. They don't know counterfeit if it slaps them in the face. It's not even like they mixed up an apple for an orange or an apple for a banana or an apple for a pear, which is an equally pretentious fruit. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done? Hiring Eugene Harrington from Gotham City Solutions to do my floor. Hiring David Brown of Neo One SEO to do my Magento website. not letting someone go who clearly didn't like a job because I was afraid what other people would think of me. Buying 600 B154 PW01 V0s because I thought it was a good price without seeing how decreasing the sales price ahead of time would affect sales volume. Hiring Eugene Harrington from Gotham City Solutions. Letting Cam interact with customers. Okay, that's kind of cruel. That's kind of effed up. I responded to some jackass's email today. He kind of had a point, but he was really digging in to just kind of make it clear how stupid Cam was, and I just didn't have it in me. I kind of like politely told him you're being a fucking asshole, and like I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I couldn't help myself. I don't know. Couldn't help myself. I have a gigantic law firm. How dare you not forward my email to the owner? Them buds with the things in the bottom, yeah, those ones. Okay. R2D2 or C? R2D2. Don't forget the interior design company. Them too. I don't know. I've done a lot of stupid shit. I've done so much stupid shit, I can't even really remember it all. A lot of it. Yeah, there's so much. Not moving until after business was exploding. Trying to fit 14 people into a space the size of a hallway. Showing up to Maine for the work session on Right to Repair without realizing that you're not even allowed to testify at them when it was an 8 or 12 hour bus trip. And it was 10 minutes. Oh my God, that was hysterical. There's definitely more. There's definitely more, and if Steve was here, he'd be able to recall it in detail. Does everybody here, do you guys think that there's actually going to be do you think that there's going to be a consequence for the customs agents that took this stuff and didn't admit it was a mistake? I'm kind of curious. I think no. I'm very cynical, so I think it's going to be no. How do you remember all the electronic component numbers? I remember the electronic component numbers because I don't remember things that I actually should remember that matter. Like, I'll forget it's my birthday. How many things are only dumb things due to 2020 hindsight? I think most of them... The thing is, I knew they were dumb in the moment. Do you take account for your mistakes? Yep, they're all mine. I own every last one of them. I was explaining this to Cam today, the concept that... I was talking to Cam today about this, about you can't change the world, so you can't change people, I suppose. You can only change how you react to the situation. So like I could blame all these people and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm not in control of them. I'm in control of me and how I react to them. And I'm in control of allowing whether or not I allow them to get one over on me to begin with. So I'd say no, customs doesn't care. They do what they want. LMAO, no, they won't be anything done to the customs agents. I have heard horror stories out the wazoo, and same from my colleagues. Who actually holds customs to account? I'm kind of curious. It's not wrong to confiscate something that you think is suspicious, but then you need to actually make a proper determination, and your following actions are what matter. I agree. No likely legal consequences, nominal retraining if really pressed. De Blasio has destroyed the city. Well, de Blasio is simply the figurehead. It's up to the people to destroy the city. There's only so much that a politician can do to destroy an area. Check out DankPod's videos on eBay. Slash and dash for what happens to anything in customs. Huh. You only answer questions that people pay into. Yes, those are the only ones I answer. That's why I've read about 8 of them from this normal chat window. You caught me. Customs are unionized government employees. They won't have to give a shit. That is what I think. And one of the things about being a pessimist is I kind of like being proved wrong because it means the world is less shitty than I thought it was. Is it possible Apple has something in court holding them up in customs? No, because if it was, we'd know about it. I don't think that this is conspiracy. I think this is stupidity. How do you figure how much to charge for repairs considering parts, labor, employees, rent, etc.? I've always wondered how that works. You're missing a couple of items in there. So you're missing risk. You're missing whether or not it's a no-fix, no-fee service. You're missing out on what are the percentage of them that you're not able to fix, meaning that if it is a no-fix, no-fee service, a certain percentage of the time you're going to be collecting zero. And you're also missing the cost of doing an estimate. So, for instance, the cost of doing an estimate in a MacBook is lower than the cost of doing an estimate in, let's say, a board repair for an iPad, where there's a screen that you have to remove that's glued in, where there's a chance, you're not always going to break it, I know why you're not supposed to break the screen, but there's a chance that you break that screen while opening it, and it's more labor-intensive than taking off 8 screws and opening the bottom cover. So you got to take a lot of stuff into consideration. You have to take into consideration the cost of doing an estimate, what the percentage chances are that it is a no fix for that particular device and service. All this stuff gets rolled into a ball. What you pay people, chance of coming back, blah, blah, blah. I think this was just someone looking for a raise by looking like they found an actual counterfeit product. Summon cat, then pet cat. It's very possible that they just wanted to, so look at how good a job I do. Look at this. Yeah, I'll confiscate this stuff. And then they, oh shit. That's a real phone manufacturer. Clinton? Come here, Mr. Clinton. Come here, Clinton. Here, Clinton. 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 Oreo, stop trying to rape Barry. Stop that. Barry's running away because Oreo's chasing her. Where is Erica? I left her outside of an Apple store. It wouldn't surprise me if some companies had an in. Customs is part of immigration and customs enforcement. They have a tumultuous relationship with the government. I don't think that Apple is going to have something confiscated based on this stupid a basis. I also don't think they would use this stupid an example, and I don't think that they would do it for this larger company. I think it goes something like this, all right? I think it goes something like this. What happens is they say, listen, we're having a big problem with counterfeits, man. Can you be a little bit more aggressive? And then the customs people go, okay, we'll be more aggressive. And then the frontline grunts that are not exactly fully educated in the differences between all these products and the distinctions is going to make a mistake, and you have to deal with it. Honestly, I work in fast food, and you'd be surprised how many nice people we have. There's a few rude customers. Most of them are nice. I'm going to take a wild guess you're not in New York City. I think that what winds up happening in this case is, like, the worst case scenario of Apple being involved is probably something like, listen, we're having a lot of problems with counterfeit stuff. Help us out here. And it's not specific. I don't think that they say, hey, OnePlus has a competing product and it's cutting into our market share. Can you fuck them up? It's nothing like that. It's most likely a lot of people are making knockoff AirPods. can you help us out with it? And when you're vague and you ask people to do, this is what happens in management. This is what happens in business. I could say, we're taking, we are losing money in the data recovery department. We need to raise our prices. And I just say that as a manager. And then the middle manager comes up with an idea. And then like the low level front desk clerk sees a drive where literally the only problem is the enclosure. The enclosure is bad and tells the customer $800. And then the customer says, this place ripped me off. They wanted $800 for an enclosure. Like, you see how the different levels of communication versus me saying, okay, it looks like the data recovery section of the business is losing money. I think, based on what I see here, we're spending way too much time on jobs that are no fix. So what if we put a timer where once you spend more than 45 minutes in a ticket, you stop trying and consider it a no fix, because no fix is no fee. And so rather than having this very, very vague, we simply need to make more money off data recovery. So I think it was likely some sort of lazy thing in management, if even that. This is for the content I consume of yours, and forgot to hit the thumbs up button. Your logic keeps me coming back. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry Jehovah's Witnesses ripped you off. But I think this is really a case of, if anything, Apple would say, we're getting too many knockoff AirPods. What can you do about it? And then Customs doing something, rather than, this specific company is knocking off our stuff. Can you stop this particular vendor or from having their products come in at this particular port? When you're a manager and you're vague and you spell out the problem without saying where you think the problem is happening, then people are going to take it into their own hands, and they may think they're doing a good thing but actually do a bad thing, and I hope that makes some sense. The cat is pissed at you. Oh, Blackberry. Hi, Blackberry. Sometimes I call your shop to check on a job I have going with you, and instead of dealing with Kevin, I get a guy from the UK. What is going on? All right, so we've had this problem for the past few weeks since I hired Cam. So usually there's 2 people at the front desk. So what happens is this. We'll have 5 customers walk in, and 16 phone calls will show up all at once. I had yesterday at one point, I had 8 fucking people on hold because over 20 people were calling in all at the same time. Steve and Paul had 1 or 2 calls. Kevin had 8. I had 8 calls. So what I did is, there's someone who's been watching my stuff for a while, who's in the industry, who knows what he's talking about, who's good at his job, who's very fucking underpaid in the UK, by the way. If you're his boss, you should be paying him more, who I hired to take phone calls for me. And unfortunately for him, he has a British accent. And what I'm finding out is that people in America hate British accents. I've had people say, who is this British guy? Why am I getting a British guy? Why is there a guy from the UK? What is going on? I don't want to deal with that guy from Britain. Even though he's actually good at his job. The fact that he has a British accent seems to genuinely piss people off. So Steve today, I'm not kidding, we were saying this in Slack, was saying like, you need to sound more Southern or some shit. Try to sound a little bit more redneck, more American, like say howdy or something. How y'all doing? What can I do for you? How y'all doing? Oh, how can I help you? Oh, thank you. So, I don't know, like, try to fake a Southern accent or some shit, because what I'm finding is that people really, in the United States, and I was not aware of this prejudice. We have a lot of talk going on in the United States right now about racial prejudice, about trans injustice, feminism, sexism, all this shit. I wasn't aware that the worst part of all of this was the worst prejudice I've experienced in the past several weeks, at least among people that I know, are people in America hating on people solely for the fact that they have a British accent. The fact that he has a British accent pisses so many fucking people off, and I don't understand it, because he gives them good answers to their questions. He's polite, he's kind. By the way, he reduced my Fresh Desk ticket answering time to 3 fucking minutes. If you email us during open hours, there's an average that you will get a response in 3 minutes because of Cam. But like, man, yeah, people really hate him. I think people would rather be transferred to India than to England. And it's not even like you're being out. It's not even like it's outsourcing to save money. He's someone who's been watching the channel for a while. He's a Discord mod. He understands what's going on. So I figured, let me look when I look for a job in the inner circle of people that I know to not be pieces of shit, and go from there. And I'm sorry he has a British accent. I'm sorry. If I could put a fucking VST host on Zoiper on his computer and then put a little VST plugin that does British accent so people stop complaining about it, I would, but I can't help it.
Hey, I got ideas.
I hired like the John Oliver sound alike for this.
Put a voice changer on him.
I've had to repeatedly explain as a longtime viewer of the channel when you talk about social issues, it isn't necessarily politics. Interesting. I don't understand exactly what you mean by that, but I am curious. +1 for hating British accents is KSTP Daft. JP says British accent equals villain. I've seen movies. I feel so bad for him because people hate him just for being him. And this sucks because he's young too. I think he's like 18 or 19 or something. So this is like one of his first real jobs, and like everybody just hates him for being British. It's so fucked up. Everybody at the store, I'm not kidding, everybody at the store at this point actually feels bad and has genuine sympathy for him for this. Because he deals with it over and over again every day. Oh, man. Poor fucking Cam. He's a good sport, though. I was talking to SolidWorks Tech last week who was in New York. I asked him if he knew you. He didn't. I had him check out your channel. We were on the phone. He knew about the right to repair stuff. I don't know what SolidWorks is, but I'm going to look that up. But yeah, what I was looking to do is get more people to answer the phone because the phone has been ringing off the hook. But people don't understand is we get, according to Free PBX, anywhere from 600 to 2,000 phone calls a day. 600 to 2,000 phone calls a day. Like, Kevin has an 8-hour day. So if you have 2,000 phone calls in a day, right? You have 8 hours in a day. All right? You have, okay, 2,000 divided by 8. All right, let's do that. So that's 250 phone calls an hour. 250 divided by 60. That is 4.1 phone calls a minute. That would mean that Kevin would have to do per minute. That means that Kevin has to handle one phone call every 15 seconds. And people want to talk to him for longer than that. Now, I've been working with Kevin for a while, and honestly, Kevin is one of the great stories about being a pessimist is a great and being wrong is a great thing. So I actually was I tried to train Kevin to do a job a certain way. I believe that he didn't do it. I wound up firing him. I wound up rehiring him. And he wound up coming back to actually do the job better than Steve or I combined. He genuinely showed us up and just proved us wrong entirely. He is incredibly good at juggling phone calls. Because again, if you have 2,000 phone calls a day, you got 15 fucking seconds per phone call. And he is very, very good at dealing with multiple calls. But it's not sustainable because that means that if like any one person wants to talk to you about their day or talk to you about their issue more than is necessary, you need to be rude to them or that destroys every other phone call. Anyway, I don't see why people hate people from the UK. I prefer them over people from India who try to rip you off or not listen to your question. I don't even think it's that. I just think it's the reading off a script that people hate. But yeah, Cam's awesome. I like Cam. I like Cam. I really do. I like dealing with Kevin. I don't mind Cam. Just wondering. Oh, all right. So at least, okay, you're not one of the people that's the Cam hater then. I appreciate that. But there are some people who are genuinely pissed off. They will actually fucking hang up and call back and say, I got a British guy? It's like, yes, you did. I pay him to answer the phone. I got an email with a British accent. 1-star Yelp, says JP. Thank you, Jonathan Prasad. Yeah. Oh, man. Tell him to really have it up. Answer the phone with super stereotypical British lingo just to piss people off. Yeah, he needs to start like saying the word color with a U in it. Treats for the black cats, says Blue Bat. Thank you. Yeah, what I've noticed is I need someone who is not interrupted by the constant nonstop flow of customers walking in the store, who is sitting in a relaxed chair to be able to answer phone calls. And I do need another board repair technician at the rate things are going, or a data recovery person who can do hard drive data recovery. I could really use more board repair people. We are hiring at this point in time. So if you are looking for and also my apologies for the people who emailed who I've been responding to slowly. My day has just been destroying my head recently. The last week and a half has been absolutely ridiculous and insane. But yeah, so we have an email here. It is called Don't Delay Work Here Today at rossmangroup.com. If you want a board repair tech job and you're not asking me to like sponsor your visa from 5,000 miles away and you live in the area and you watch the videos and you know why the Pippy3v3_G3 hot is the rail that you need to put on first, don't delay. Work here today at rossmangroup.com. We are indeed hiring. Rossman Repair Group, where stress is high and morale is low. Rossman Repair Group, where the employees are high and the salaries are low. Caveats growing industrial and commercial business. I think the caveat with growing any business in general is realizing that let's say you have 10,000 in profit, right? Now let's say going to the next level requires $100,000. You could choose over the year to add $100,000 to your profit or go to the next level. And you can go to the next level and realize if you don't do everything perfectly, it all falls apart. And not only do you not have the $100,000 that you put in to get to the next level, but now you're actually losing money because you're at the next level and you're not doing things right. So Michael Gerber talks about this in some of his books. He says that if you're not always going to the next level, that there's no staying at this level. Like once you're at the point where you can go to the next level and there's enough business to, you either go here or you implode. I don't know if that's necessarily true, and sometimes I do kind of wonder if going to the next level was necessarily the thing that I need to do. Scott says, have Kevin speak with a British accent. I would have fired him much sooner if he spoke with a British accent. I can't stand those fucking people with the British accent. Oh, Cam's in my chat. Hey, how's it going, Cam? How's it going, buddy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, just don't rewind the stream, man. Yeah, so the biggest issue I find is there's this issue in business where you try to go to the next level and you actually wind up worse than you were before. You know, I have this argument with Steve a lot where he argues that you may get to a point where you just keep growing your business, but you're making the same amount of money, but you're just dealing with more and more stress. He questions how scalable a repair business where you treat people properly and you pay people decently actually is. And it's interesting because July and August saw the most business we've ever had, and it also simultaneously coincided with losing money, which is interesting because I haven't lost money in a while. And that was interesting to me. So I don't think that that's what it is. I think it is that I just was not managing it properly for that month or two. I think I mentally checked out because of everything that's been going on over the past few years. You combine the COVID and the civil unrest and the staying up until 1 or 4 in the morning all these nights and the moving and all this other shit. And I think I just kind of mentally checked out. And I am looking to correct that. Just showing my support. I like your view on things. Thank you. I recognize you. I know you from Eli's streams. I remember the Bulldog versus Eli. How are you? I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope you're doing well. All right. I've watched some of your stuff. I hope you're doing well. SolidWorks is CAD and now CAM software. CAD is computer-aided design and CAM is computer-aided machining. I design machines and tooling and 3D modeling. Oh, very cool. Thank you. Yeah, the main problem in trying to grow a business is every time you go to the next level, it requires investing something that you could have kept. And if you invest something you could have kept and you lose, not only do you lose that, but you also continuously lose because you move to the next level prematurely. So I usually wait until everything is busting apart at the seams to move to the next level because I don't want to lose money. I've had a business where I tried to move to the next level too soon. It imploded. I destroyed myself, and I dealt with the financial aftermath of that. And it really is kind of, I don't want to use the word traumatizing because it sounds kind of like overly dramatic. It's a business. It's not, you're not getting beaten by a gang of rabid wolves or anything, but it did feel that way. And I think that I still have that from the beginning where I recognize what it is like to fail at a business. So I want to wait until I am milking whatever situation I'm in for all that it's worth before trying to move into the next situation as a business owner. How much can I get at this level before I go to this level? Because I don't want to go from this level to this level and realize I went from being profitable to being in the red. Would you have dated Erica if she had a British accent? No, I would tolerate a British accent. I wouldn't date her if she was a Mac user, though. How can I email you directly about hiring? I wasn't memeing with that email. It's don't delay work here today at rossmangroup.com. That's don't delay work here today at rossmangroup.com. Apply. Again, I'll know. I will know when you show up if you know that what rails are needed first when it comes to board repair and all that. I'll know if you were paying attention all this time. So if you weren't, please just don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to be wasting a trip. And please don't email me if you're like going to say, I'm in Jordan, I'm in Afghanistan, I'm in Australia or whatever. Like that I don't know. I haven't solved the problem of time travel to make it so that where you have an acceptable commute. Because if you're trying to commute here from Jordan or Australia, that's a bitch of a commute to do board repair at my store. Anyway, you have to be someone who is willing or who already lives in the shithole that is New York City. I want New York to be the best place to get food again. I don't think next level is much of a concern as long as you aren't being stagnant. Yeah. Did you ever get your batteries back from Customs and Border Patrol? Nope. I never did. There's a Reddit user named Season 2, Episode 3. His parents put parental controls on his lights so he can't use them at night, and they also lock him in his room every night. Any advice for him? Save up every dime that you can so that when you are legally allowed to leave, you can leave. And if people tell you that it's not worth living in some shithole where it has some termites, maybe it's not a nice place, maybe it's not in the best of neighborhoods, yes, it is to be away from people that treat you like that. Props to customer service. I can never deal with that many people. I much prefer my job as a graveyard groundskeeper. My customers are pretty quiet. Should I throw myself into business instead of researching more than I already have? You've spent 200 hours researching. It's about time you start doing something. It's about time that you start doing the real research of actually getting started and figuring out if people want your product, actually getting started and speaking to real customers. Because a big part of your research is going to be speaking to people and figuring out if the services that you have to offer are of value to them. Here's the thing. A lot of people are going to say, oh, yeah, I'd love that. Oh, yeah, that sounds great. But then you say, okay, cool. Oh, I'm going to set up a business. Oh, okay. So that's going to be $50. And they're like, yeah, no. Don't trust anything that you hear or you see from research. This happened to me with RAM upgrades on Retinas, right? So everybody used to say with the old machines, I would love to pay you for RAM upgrades. I wish I could pay you for RAM upgrades. Why don't you offer RAM upgrades? It's so stupid that you don't offer RAM upgrades. Can you guys solder? So then with the new machines where it was easier to do the RAM upgrades, I actually, bought the fucking RAM. I think I spent like $210 or $220 to get the 16 gigabyte RAM chips for the A1707, the A1706 and the A1708. And so it was about $220 or so plus for the RAM. I think that I paid around there, $200 to $220. And I think we were charging anywhere from $300 to $400 to do the upgrade because it's, it is board work. There is a chance of me killing the CPU or anything like that. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, never mind. They all said they would want to pay. Oh, yeah, I wish I could pay you, like $300 or $400 to upgrade the RAM. It's like, all right, cool, let me buy the RAM. I bought a whole fucking spool of RAM. It's still here. I still have the whole spool. I think I've used it once on one customer ever. So one of the things that you're going to do when you're starting a business in your research is you're going to start offering the service and you get to find out if people are actually willing to pay for it. And that's how you kind of find out what people say they think is cool and what is actually cool. Next level is when you open up mall repair shops. Then it's Hello Darkness on repeat 24/7. Oh, that sounds like hell. That sounds like hell on earth, man. How does one learn to solder? Practice board and keep trying. I cook mean hot dog. Should I apply or will you hire me on the spot? I need you to cook boards. Is it stupid for me to be charging $5 an hour for labor costs for computer repairs when all I really do is replace hardware and fix OS and BIOS? $5 an hour? Did I read that right? No. No, Copaz. No. We've done this before. See, you have a Logitech Wave keyboard. I just got one from my mom and her company got a super expensive Microsoft Ergo keyboard. Whoops. I use this thing because I think I got it while it was on sale for like 10 or 12 bucks or something with a coupon. Thanks for all your right to repair advocacy. Thank you for the message, and hopefully I can keep doing it into the future. You come on to Mike Martin's channel. He talks real estate. He is live right now. I don't know who that is. When do you think the housing market is going to crash outside of New York City? A year and a half. It's going to take longer this time because of the eviction moratorium and the foreclosure moratoriums and all that stuff. But once all that stuff is released, oh man, I mean, I think the first thing you're going to see are way more riots in the streets, and then it's going to be the housing market crash. But first, the riots in the streets. For the housing market to crash, the mass foreclosure has to happen. For the mass foreclosure to happen, a bunch of people have to be kicked out of their homes. For all the people to get kicked out of their homes to happen, before that happens, riots in the street. So that's going to be coming next. Would you consider going on Joe Rogan? Absolutely. I like Joe Rogan. I like his show. I think it takes some level of talent to be able to have conversations with as many people he can and have it be interesting. Joe Rogan can have a 2-hour conversation with Kyle Kalinske and a 2-hour conversation with Ben Shapiro, and it's still interesting. Joe Rogan can talk to a conspiracy theorist and then one of the people that works at the CIA, and it's still interesting. And I like that about him. You know, it sounds easier than it is, and I don't think he gives himself enough credit when he says, you know, I'm just a normal person or a normal idiot, don't listen to me. It takes a lot of skill that most people probably don't realize to be able to have interesting conversations that others would find interesting with people who are on all these opposite sides of the political or intellectual spectrum and actually have it be entertaining. You a tech channel or a real estate channel now? I don't know what the fuck I am. I don't know what people watch me for. Smoke a big fat blunt and you can talk to anyone for 2 hours. It's pretty easy. Well, you know, I've never smoked weed, so I don't know. I've done a good... Are you afraid to be canceled? I don't know what that means, man. I have my own... Like, I don't know, man. I don't have a show on a network. I don't have investors. I'm the owner of my own company. At my company, most of my customers are individuals. They're not larger businesses that could pull out their business. I don't even know how you would go about doing that. I mean, I suppose, you know, there's enough, like, YouTube could remove me, but I suppose I would still be on platforms like Library and everything else, so I'd still exist. I would just exist to a far less number of people. But I don't see them having a reason to at the moment. I wouldn't imagine that it can happen. I've never heard of Rakita Law. I haven't heard of it, but I will look into them. What do you hate about New Yorkers? New Yorkers is a very general term. I think a lot of the people that people consider real New Yorkers left the city a long time ago, and what's left are the people chasing dreams from that come from the suburbs and more rural areas of the rest of the United States. If you ever left New York, what state would you move your business to? I think you would do very well in a large city of Texas. Pet Blackberry for me. Here, Blackberry. I don't know where I'd go, and I want to get my motorcycle learner's permit so I can ride around the U.S. for a little bit and see what all the areas are like. But because in New York sucks, I have to wait until like middle of October to go to Syracuse. Your repairs have to pay everything in your business and personal life while still having competitive prices. How do you balance that? Just getting a lot of business and working all the time. But one of those signed battery stories, if you mentioned it, look forward to it. I have a lot of those to ship out. Thank you. I shipped out one. I have to ship out several more shortly. Drop my A1466 and now my screen goes back 180 degrees like a ThinkPad. E-key also pops off. Able to fix for around 100, or do I need a new key? I don't have a way to fix that thing where the hinges on it get really crappy without replacing them. And I don't have a way to replace the hinge on that without screwing up the webcam cable that is going behind the bezel that I have to remove, that has a small chance of screwing up the screen if you don't remove it properly. Remember my last burrito? Here's another one. Thank you, Ultra Noob. I'm not eating a burrito tonight. I'm drinking this green juice shit. I've lost 30 pounds over the past year, and I'm doing my best to keep it off. Dinner. Well, this and a falafel wrap, but still. The falafel wrap is more like lunch. Do you bet on sports? Nope. I don't understand sports. I enjoyed your commentary on the plundering of the Paycheck Protection Program. Keep up the good vibes. Thank you, Shosho. What do you like most about Dota? I like the fact that it ends after 45 minutes and doesn't go on endlessly like the direction that the World of Warcraft kind of stuff went. You ever consider moving to Westchester? The property taxes are too high. I don't want to move so then my commute would be much longer. I'd have to buy my commute would be much longer and the taxes are still crazy. There's not much point to moving outside of the New York City if you're still going to have to deal with crazy expenses. What's one of your personal Stier albums? I don't know what STIER means. I'm so sorry. I feel dumb. Do you feel like your ambivalence towards politics is what people in power want you to have? Let's see. I don't know. Rakita Law is a Minnesota lawyer turned YouTuber legal streamer who can point you in the right direction. I suggested him to you a year or so ago. Huh. Interesting. I'll take a look at it. Oh crap, I'm yawning now. Shit. The yawns have begun. Do you have any hobbies outside of tech? I like making e-bikes when they don't blow up because of AliExpress batteries. I like Vandersteen speakers. I like music. Moved to Olathe, Kansas. I liked Olathe, Kansas when I visited. In Brookfield, Wisconsin. I like Brookfield, Wisconsin. If I move, I want to move to some place that's at least 1,000 miles from an H-Mart. It has to be far away from the H-Mart. Because one of the things that I learned about H-Mart, since Erica loves H-Mart, and she wants to be near an H-Mart, is that if you live near an H-Mart, it increases the property prices. It's like a Trader Joe's. So every time I find a place that is near an H-Mart, the house costs an additional $400,000 to $800,000 over what it costs with a no H-Mart. So no H-Mart. But not like I'm trying to make a statement or anything. Lewis is moving to Montana soon. Like to be a dental floss tycoon. Raising it up. Waxing it down. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. I found an engineering sample XPS 9575. It worked perfectly, but then after a successful BIOS update, it crashed. I tried anything. Every suggestions. Maybe the BIOS update failed. That's all over the internet, over a live stream. That's really the only thing I can come up with. You see what happened with Apple and the Environmental Committee in the UK? No, but I'd love to know. Come to Anchorage, Alaska. We have 40,000 Mac computers. Are you still considering Forest Hills? No. It's too close to an H-Mart, which means it's expensive. Eau Claire, Wisconsin isn't a bad area. Yeah, and Hawaii is expensive. Remember those apartments that were over $280,000 for a cockroach-laden shithole in a 100-year-old building? Yeah. No. Tons of franchises that wouldn't be touched with a 10-foot pole, yet impressionable with tech. JAMF is here. Maybe Wisconsin isn't a bad idea. Do you think a New York City small business for a fee, would let me use their address to order from a wholesaler so I appear to have a commercial location? Maybe, but you'd have to find one that would consider it worth it, their time for the arrangement. There are places like mailboxes, etc. I used to use that on 511 6th Avenue. Mine used to be Suite 258. Suite 258 is a mailbox that's about the size of this water bottle. They would have let me get my packages there. Suite 258. Because I have a suite. I'm a Rossman. Rossman Group. Bose is better than Vandersteen. Changed my mind. No, they're not. Their drivers suck. So A, in a Vandersteen speaker, because of I think it's a short coil, long gap design, Wait, is it? You have a design where the driver can go out for an inch or an inch and a half, and even an inch to inch and a half out, you still have low distortion. You don't got that in the Bose. You have limited reflections from the cabinet because there is no cabinet. You don't have that in a Bose. You have the cabinet for each driver is as small as can be. You have the phase coherent crossover. You have the phase coherent design. Fuck Bose. They suck. Don't compare Vandersteen to Bose. I'll ban you. Do you think New York City's... Oh, yeah, it's no. Beyond at the same time, I appreciate your work. Also, another shout out for Olathe, Kansas, and Kansas City. Yes. New Hampshire is also a cheap place in the East Coast. New Hampshire property taxes are not... I'm not feeling it. Do you look in your current business model and think I should be doing more Android stuff? No. No, it's the exact opposite. I look at the business model and I think to myself, thank God I did not specialize in doing Android stuff or phone stuff in general. The phone stuff typically requires much faster turnaround, much less profit margin, and much higher expectations. So, yeah, and like just let's take Samsung for instance, right? Look at the cost of the screen. Like with Samsung stuff, the cost of the screen is like almost the cost of the phone. And you have to take into account that the screens break very simply. Like they break, they don't crack. They have that stupid little line that goes down the middle of it. So the customer thinks they didn't break it, but your supplier thinks that it's broken. So your supplier is not going to take it back, but your customer is going to file a chargeback if you ask for more. Yeah. Data recovery on Android, absolutely. I will do data recovery on your Android. Fixing your $200 or $300 Android phone within 2 hours so you have it back immediately for $50, I can't figure out how to make that work. And if somebody else makes that work, then they kick my ass. And great job. I'm happy that you did it. Prove me wrong. I'm not saying it to be an arrogant asshole. That's the beauty of a free market system. If you can do something I can't figure out how to do, then you will be successful. Sura and Vega are best speakers. No, they're not. Sura and Vega are made to be loud. They are not made to be good. Bose is not even made to be loud or good. They're just made to be expensive. You were recently mentioned in Gamers Nexus. Thought that was pretty cool. Also, here is some money for that green sheet. Green sheet? What do you mean green sheet? When are Lewis and Erica getting married? When Erica denounces H-Mart. Would you consider moving to Chicago? Funny. No. Have you looked at Indiana? Cheap taxes and property. Left Illinois in 2018 and haven't looked back at all. I have looked at Indiana, actually, and you have a lot of very amazing houses at very low prices with very low property taxes. Where to begin research into e-bikes, best bikes? Check out ebikes.ca. The people at Grin, they're really awesome. The Phase Runner controller, I like it. ebikes.ca is a really cool website. I like them.
Hey, what are your thoughts about Dell?
Even if they do have too much integral gain on their BBS HD preset. Huh?
What are your thoughts about Dell?
They're a company. Dell makes good stuff and Dell make bad stuff. I like the Precision series, the old Precision series, that had the little button in the center of the keyboard that you use as a mouse. Shout out from Shawnee, Kansas. Olathe sucks. Oh, when I went to Olathe, I had a good time. But I don't think that the good time that I had anything to do with the fact that I was in Olathe. All right, I'm just going to shut up before I dig a hole for myself. So let's see. I'm around Cleveland. Even I don't think it was a good idea. Best speaker brand. I'm a Vandersteen fanboy. I like them. Don't buy them new. You will spend way too much money. Used market. Get yourself a set of Vandersteen Model 2s for $400. Vote Trump 2020, guys. It's the only chance we have to save our country. If you think that presidents don't save countries, people do. The president is a figurehead. People matter. What people do matters. This is why it pisses me off when people say de Blasio ruins the city. Is de Blasio a piece of shit? Yes. Do I vote for him? No. But again, he's the figurehead. There's 8 million people in this city. They choose whether or not this city is good or a shithole. Not the mayor. Like when people say the streets are dirty, you have people pissing everywhere in the street, this, that, and the other. Who's pissing? Who's throwing shit everywhere? Who's taking their bottle when they're done with it and just tossing it off there? Who's robbing people? Who's beating people on the subway? Who is walking down the street with that aggravated look on their face like they're this close to smacking you and then they actually wind up screaming at you over something inconsequential and stupid? If you live in a city that you think is a shit city, you may have a shit mayor, but just keep in mind that the city can't be a shit city without also having a lot of shit people. You sound like a complaining bastard. Go away. Anyway. Audio-Technica is better than Bose and Vandersteen. Changed my mind. We're not even talking the same thing. Audio-Technica makes microphones and headphones. They don't make full-range speakers. This is an Audio-Technica 4050 mic. I got this thing for about $300 messed up. I hammered it back into shape, and then I use a Sharpie so that it looks like it's black again instead of looking like the banged-up piece of shit that it was. Most of this is actually Sharpie.
Wow, I didn't even notice.
Yep. Sharpie.
Where'd you get it from? eBay?
Cuomo literally milks upstate New York with taxes. His laws don't make sense up here, and we hate him. I voted for Larry Sharpe, but he got less than 2% of the vote, so... Are you interested in hearing restaurant landlord rent situations? I manage a restaurant and can see our finances, and I think you would laugh. Absolutely. I think it would be fun to discuss. Email lewis@rossmangroup.com. 2 S's, 2 N's. Just don't get salty if I don't reply because I have over 1,000 unread emails. What are your thoughts on the current state of alternative smartphones like PinePhone, Purism, Librem 5? The PinePhone stuff, I think, needs a lot of work before it's even remotely usable, but I have more respect for them than I do for the Librem people. Librem gives me the idea, and again, this is purely based on speculation. This is purely locker room talk, drama, gossip girl bullshit. So by all means, don't go running saying that this is a fact. It seems like the people at Librem are more into... It seems like the higher level execs are more interested in getting that seed funding and the next round of funding and seeming like they care about the privacy and the security and all that and the openness than they actually do care about producing an amazing product. Like, it seems like we want to get the money first kind of thing. And that's the impression that I get, and I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, then I'm sorry. But from speaking to people, I have a better feeling about the PinePhone people. It's just the PinePhone thing. I was using a PinePhone, and I live streamed trying to use a PinePhone for an hour and a half, and the guy that made the OS was sitting in the chat going, "Oh my God, I'm pulling my hair out. I can't believe this." I don't know if he's pulling his hair out because of how badly it was working, or if he's pulling his hair out because I'm using it so badly. One way or the other, that shit's not even close to ready for prime time. But I think and the problem is, thoughts on Denon AVRs. Denon can drive a 4-ohm load without going into current protection, which I have respect for, which is more than I can say for a lot of the Yamaha 5.1 receivers. So Denon and Harman Kardon can often drive a 4 or 3-ohm load, even with all 5 channels going, and not go into current protection. I can respect that. But they're bullshitting you on the watts like most companies do. Now, but what was I saying? Oh, yeah. The thing is, once the stuff it's kind of like the Linux issue. Once stuff like the PinePhone finally catches up and gets to where Android was, it'll be where an Android phone that you get from the manufacturer was, 9 years ago. So by the time they catch up, we'll be on some new technology by then, and we won't really care anymore. And that's the thing that I think is going to wind up happening. That kind of makes me sad. Have a good night. Catch you later. Move to Boise, Idaho. You mean Boise, not Bose. Not Bose. I'm not going to move to a place called Bose. Larry Sharp, Larry Dahl. And I like Larry Sharp. I had a gigantic boom in business in 2019, so I didn't get to have an interview with Larry Sharp. I was invited to have an interview with him, and I fucked up. And I blew it off because I was so busy with work. But I would have been honored to sit in the same room with Larry Sharp and have a talk and conversation. I think it would have been really fun. I respect Larry Sharp. I was proud that I voted for Larry Sharp. I don't usually support politicians. I usually vote for them and I throw up in my mouth as I'm voting for the lesser of two evils. But I honestly like Larry Sharp. I was happy to vote for him. Watching you for 2 years, I appreciate the work you're doing for Right to Repair, among other things. Can you T-po... I don't understand what that means. Erica, what does that mean?
What?
Can you T-pose, please?
Can I keyhole?
T. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm sorry.
Oh, they want you to pose in a T?
I don't know what the hell that means.
T.
I don't know what that means. Do you eat healthy? I don't eat. I drink. Erica got this for free. Thanks for inspiring a boomer to get into component repair. Well, that's awesome. Can you recommend a good beginner Mac hot air station? I have a mid-2013 MacBook Pro 13-inch that blew up and wanted temp repair, but I have no tools. I like the Aten 862. I may be slightly biased. You can buy it at store.rossmangroup.com, except for the fact that A, it's out of stock, and B, the site may not actually be working right now. I just put my new theme on, by the way. I finally got the site properly migrated after David Brown of neo1seo.com took $9,000 and blew me off for a year and a half and never gave any of the fucking money back. But I did finally get a proper theme put on here. So this theme is, it actually works because the old theme that I had, it wasn't allowing me to be indexed in Google at all. I had errors all over the site when I tried to have it migrated, but I found someone to do it properly. Like, the pictures are ridiculous because I just put any random fucking pictures up here. So I got, like, a picture of Paul, a picture of me with my thumb up. Like, this is such a shitty website. This is such a, like... I had people in Discord. I just said, like, find me random pictures to put on here. So I, like, look, that's Paul. That's me. That's me again. Look at that low resolution, zoomed-in cell phone picture right there. It's quality. That's me teaching with Jessa Jones. But, yeah, right here, the Aten Hot Air Rework Station. We just ran out of units. Yeah, we'll have some more in soon. Actually, check my here's the thing. Here's what makes this all so fucking stupid. You guys ready? You guys ready for this? They're stuck in customs. I'm never getting this shit now. Hey, let me check my tracking number here. I'm never getting my shit now. Let's see, because I got 6 of them in and I sold them, but then the rest of my 94 hot air stations are probably still sitting in customs right now. Let's take a look. Yeah, pending. Pending. Okay, one of them got delivered. Clearance delay. Import. International shipment release. Yeah, so I'm supposed to be getting more of them in, but they're pending. I don't know. Maybe Pace called up customs and said Lewis is importing fake stations. I'm kidding there, obviously, but someone's going to say fact check. Pace did not actually do that. But yeah. How about you not stream calling customs fucking idiots while they're holding $13,000 of your stuff? Yeah, I'm stupid. Can we go back to that message from the beginning of the stream? What are the stupidest things you've done? The stupidest thing I've done is not wait until customs releases $13,000 of my merchandise to make a stream on a channel with 1 million subscribers calling them morons. How about that? That's being a fucking idiot. But yeah, I like that hot air station. That is Magento. That is, yeah. So the thing is that Magento, what I had, because my Magento developer, that I don't want to hear any shit. I gave you a long fucking time to build that website and a lot of time to refund my money. You had a year and a half to do this shit, asshole. At neo1seo.com. I get a year and a half to build the site, nothing. So I had someone quickly hack together a Magento 2 theme that looked like my Magento 1 theme, but it was hacked, it wasn't right, so I just wound up getting some random shit pre-built theme. and then throwing my pictures into it just so that I stopped throwing errors. Like before, you literally couldn't check out in Firefox. That thing was so bad, migrating Magento 1 to 2, that you literally couldn't even check out in Firefox. So I said fuck it and bought some generic theme and modified it, and here we are. That's about that. Those pics are awesome. I like those pics. I think they're great. Random pictures from old videos. Thank you to Mr. Finbear in YouTube for Finbear in Discord for all of his work finding all these old pics and putting them up there. Yes, my site was broken. It is ridiculously broken. I know. I need to find time to fix it. I don't know how to become a philosopher. I think you piss a lot of people off like Socrates and then wind up getting killed. Magento is garbage. I agree. At least this website is better than the Eugene performance of your floors. Yes. Does this guy not read the questions? WTF. No, I read all of them. They show up on the screen after I read them a lot of the time. So I read them when they show up in the YouTube chat, but they show up in the YouTube thingy before they show up on the screen. They must have matched an Apple configuration. Yeah. Again, this, like, at what point should I be worried? This stuff has been pending since, like, yeah. Yeah, this stuff's been pending since the 10th, September 10th. This is not good. This is not good. I'm not getting my hider stations, am I? You should probably not call customs assholes until you get your stuff. Presidents are figureheads, but which administration do you think would better handle the COVID recession on the horizon? Oh, I don't know. They're both dumpster fires. I don't know. Like, on one hand, I don't think Biden is capable of doing much, but on the other hand, I think him not being capable of doing much actually means he may fuck things up less. Because Trump is capable of doing things. He's like more about it, but that's the problem in the first place. It's like, I don't want him touching and screwing up things. Like, Biden's best argument is, I'm just going to go in there and I'm just going to do nothing. Like, I won't break anything. I won't screw with anything. Yeah, I don't know. That's a mess. Dumpster fire 2020. Burn that vote now. Apple is better than Customs. Change my mind. Customs is a government agency, but Apple is a cell phone and computer manufacturer. That doesn't make any sense. Good burritos in Boise, Idaho. Chevy or Ford? I say no. Yeah, no. No to both. That's why I find it interesting that a lot of the Trump attack ads on Biden are, look, he's old, he has Alzheimer's, he's old, he has Alzheimer's, and it's... The Trump presidency would probably do better if he just stopped fucking with shit. Like, there was that one guy from the NCIS had looked into, I forget the dude's name, you know, he was accused of slitting someone's throat in this, in the Middle East. I forget his name, but someone's going to remember it in the chat. Someone will remember it in the chat. And he pardons him, and it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you put your dick in that? Why would you touch that? Why would you get involved with that? Why would you do anything there? Why? What do you gain? It's not even like you get to... You don't even get to look like you care about the military or pro-military, because there's lots of military people that think that's a stupid-ass thing to do. Yeah, former Navy SEAL. I'm forgetting his name because it's close to midnight. But it's like, why are you doing that? Why are you putting your dick into that? Like, why? Why would you touch that? Gallagher, that's his name. And, like, there are so many areas where, yeah, let's say Biden actually has a straight-up full-blown Alzheimer's and he doesn't know jack shit. The fact that he has Alzheimer's means he may actually do some things better. Because he's incapable mentally of fucking it up. Because he doesn't know what he's doing. And he doesn't know where he is, so he won't touch it. It's just there are so many little things like this where it's just like, you're just touching stuff that there's no reason to touch. Like, why? Why? But then when you vote for Biden, you wind up with Hillary version 2 as president a year or two in. Oh, God, why is it such a dumpster fire? Why? I would have voted for Tulsi. I would have voted for Andrew Yang. Why do you do this to me? Why do you pick the shittiest fucking candidate every single time and prop them up only so that they can lose the general election? Why? I would have.
I think Biden and Tulsi would have been much, much stronger.
And even if you are going to choose someone like Joe Biden, an old, dementia-ridden corporate Democrat to be the president, why couldn't you choose a vice president that's at least likable? Likable. Did you learn nothing from 2016? You learned nothing. Nothing. Tulsi Gabbard is one of the people that's responsible for Kamala Harris getting kicked out of the race. And she's not even considered. Oh, screw that. And she would have checked that that little box of, minority, woman, all that stuff. Not crazy.
White.
Would Kanye be better than Trump? Why are we here? I'm depressed at the question. How's Erica going to vote? Will she vote by mail? Erica will vote by Bafang. Why you ignore my question twice? I did not see your question. I'm trying to find your question now and I can't find it. Where is your question? What did I miss? What did I miss? I don't see it. I've read everything that I see. Gallagher symbolized military undermining Trump. Did he? I don't see that question. Let me see. Let's go to viewer activity. Democrats want a puppet to string along. I think the Democratic Party is too large a party. There's too many people in one party. It's kind of like what Ron Paul did with the Republican Party. Ron Paul is not a Republican. Ron Paul is a libertarian, but he snuck in saying that he's a Republican because he knows that the Libertarian Party has no chance of winning. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's using the Democratic Party because he knows as an independent he has no chance of winning. These parties are too large and but the two-party system and the first past the post system means that you're not going to be able to win as a third party, so you have to pretend you fit into a party that you don't actually belong to that eventually sabotages you and tries to fuck you out of winning. How is the customs messing with OnePlus going? I finished laughing at that a while back. How do we get you to start your own political party? What would you call it and what's your platform? Well, you can't. That's the whole point. First past the post always ends in this bullshit two-party system where you're just choosing the guy that you think is the chance of winning that's the lesser of two evils, rather than the people. Because we the people choose not to create an honest economy and live off the profits of human suffering. That's why h2space.org. Huh. Abolish two-party system. Two-party system sucks. Get rid of first past the post. That would be awesome. Massachusetts is ranked choice voting on the ballot this year. New York will have it 2021. Then you can have a third party locally. I'm really curious how it's going to go with right to repair in Massachusetts on November 3rd. I want to see what happens I want to see what happens when people get to vote on right to repair. Because if those ads saying that the right to repair people just want to rape you actually wind up convincing people not to vote for it, then I'll know that it's not the politicians, it's not the corruption, it's not that, it's us. Because right now, they'll try to keep it from vote. Don't you wish that Americans loved America like Texans love Texas? I don't know. I think you have to balance patriotism with cynicism and disdain at the same time, because that's how you wind up getting better and growing better. Too much patriotism, it winds up imploding on itself because you wind up not looking for ways to improve. You have to admit something sucks in order to want to do better, I think. But too much of just fuck America, everything America's ever done is bad and always will be bad until the end of time and blah, blah. It gets tiring after a while as well. I think I'm probably leaning on the side of I'm just kind of tired of that. I'm tired of always hearing about how it's awful without hearing any of the benefits, particularly from people that are just... And I often hear that from people that I feel are not... How do I put this? Are not understanding the trade-offs versus where we were, let's say, 50 or 70 years ago, or like the difficult battle that you have to fight just to get to where we are now, or the shitty place we are now versus the shitty place we were 80 years ago. What solution do you recommend for storing and organizing electronic parts or prototyping? Lots of little bins, and with put numbers and letters, A1, A2, A3, A4. I was able to unlock a frozen account, locked by Google Authentication, stuck on a phone, thanks to your repair manual videos. That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever shown someone how to do that. Could you read my question? Thank you. I don't know what your question is, and unfortunately they're flowing by so fast. There's so many questions. There's 45 chats a minute. That's impossible. Yeah, let's see here. The rate of chat is... Yeah, that's crazy. 45 chats or so a minute. That's impossible. How do you read that fast? You probably didn't... Yeah, also, I'm using the Control F feature of my browser and typing your name in, and all I see from you is, can you read my question, but without the actual question. Oh, here we go. Finally, my A1278 died. Tried to debug it. Could it be all says power good? Oh, come on. No, not this could it be shit. No. This is not how it works. It could be cool if you got a New York City real estate appraiser to give their opinions on things. They see the deals like banks make and also hate the realtors. I don't know any. I'll talk about that in a moment, but I have to answer this one. Fucking now, there's probably going to be another one right after. So with New York State real estate appraisers, what I did a couple of years ago is I reached out to about 25 or 35 real estate management firms, and I asked them if they'd be willing to get on my show to talk about the heightened price of housing, in spite of the fact that a lot of the socialists in New York City are really anti-landlord, to give their side of the story, so that it was a more two-sided story rather than just what you read in Gothamist on a regular basis. In spite of that, none of them got on my show, even though I said I have over 800,000 subscribers, and I'd be happy to hear your side. So I don't think they're interested in talking to me. We need to be worried about who will replace de Blasio. Whoever replaces de Blasio, I think, is going to be considerably more left-wing than de Blasio. However, less corrupt than de Blasio. Now back to your question, Sarivia. No, this is not how this works. It's like, my car doesn't start. Could it be the alternator? Yes. But that doesn't do shit. How many amps is it taking? Are you in an S5 state, then an S4 state, then an S3 state? Have you checked all your power rails? Like, could it be this? You see, there's a bunch of troubleshooting steps, right? There's here, then here, then here, then here, and if you have something wrong here, that may lead you here. Then when this is wrong, that may lead you there. And instead of doing the troubleshooting steps, what you're doing is you're saying, it's not turning on. Could this be the issue? I don't know. There's troubleshooting steps. Is the G3 hot rails present? Are the S5s present? Are the S4s present? Are the S3s present? Are the SOs present? If you watch the stuff, you know it. Don't do that thing. Don't torture me. Don't do that. Could it be this? I can't stand the could it be this questions. You can't do the could it be this until you do the troubleshooting work. You got to do the work before you do the guessing. Have you ever used an iPod? I have never used an iPod, and I hope I never have to. Actually, no, I take that back. There was a customer that left one for like 2 years, and I broke my phone, so I wound up using it for a few days, and that was that. Can you write off any of your stuff in customs? Ha. Please pet the cat. Hello, Clinton. So yeah, I reached out to a bunch of management companies to talk to them about this. And I said, it seems like New York City, the the politics of the city are moving more and more left. Socialism and at least the socialist ideas are becoming more mainstream. These ideas are typically very anti-landlord. You guys are proposed as evil. So I have questions about this. Now, to be clear, I'd like to listen to your full answer. I'd like to not ask you leading questions, and I'd like to give you the space to give a full answer on certain issues, like regarding housing prices, why they're high, what's causing it, the idea that you're purposely keeping housing off the market to raise the prices of your other properties. I'd like to give you a chance to say everything you have to say. I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to selectively edit it and cut it out and then just put it on the and post it, just like to make you look stupid. If it's a 1 hour conversation, I'll post all of what you have to say and it will be viewed by over 800,000 people. None of them got back to me. Out of 25 or 35 real estate management companies and all that, there's none of them. Like, nobody. None. So at this point, I don't care to hear their side of the story because they weren't interested in telling me. So when I was interested in hearing their side of the story, before socialism really started to go more mainstream, before this whole eat the rich and fuck the landlords thing came out, when I wanted to get the other side of the story because I'm a skeptical person and I like to believe that there's more to it than what people are telling me, you refused to even represent yourself. So how am I supposed to care more about landlords than landlords care about themselves? How am I supposed to care or advocate for you more than you're willing to advocate for yourself? Because if you're not willing to explain yourself, then fine. What people think is the worst possible case scenario about you will remain true, and that's on you. Your black kitty's influenced me to select a black kitten. His name is Leon. We're staying up to pre-order 3080 tonight. Don't order a 3080. You don't need it. My wife doesn't understand anything you say but loves you anyway. Pet that kitten. Will do. This is my kitty. I love my kitty. My kitty is so cute. My kitty goes meow meow. My kitty goes meow meow. You guys are just making NVIDIA stock go up. Just supporting someone I learned from, says Philippe Heyman. Thank you. Why don't you have a dog? Because cats are better. Why do you think 46% of Americans voted for Donald Trump in 2016? People seem to focus too much on the person and not enough on the root cause, which is widespread stupidity. I disagree. And I also think that, you see, this is the problem with most of this stuff. Rather than actually understand the issues that will cause someone to vote for someone you don't like, you just say, they're stupid. So you have to think about this. So for instance, on Reddit recently, I had a conversation with someone, and I put this on my community page, who said, this guy is a liar, and he made this up, and he said this and that about the other thing. And he was responding to someone who was genuinely cursing me out and saying I'm a total psychopathic piece of shit and blah, blah, blah. And what I did is I decided, rather than go in there saying, you must be stupid, you must be an idiot because you disagree with me, what I thought I would do is I would just say, oh, by the way, you think this, well, here's what I find to be true based on this information, based on this link. Here's all the information that I think. Now, what do you think? And by the way, you can disagree with me, you can dislike me, you're totally fine to. I just think you should know this part of information. And what the guy said was, that's why you don't get your info from Reddit. I'm glad to hear your side. And then he turned from an anti-right to repair to actually, oh, is there a right to repair legal fund I could donate to? Thank you for typing all that. It means a lot. If you look at my Reddit page, if you look at my Reddit profile for the past 4.5 years, what I try to do is, regardless of how mean someone's being to me, and often I fail, a lot of the times I fail, what I try to do is, rather than oversimplify why you did what you did to the simplest possible explanation based on my disdain for your opinion, I'll try to genuinely understand where you're coming from. As a repair technician, how does it make you feel to know there are phones with removable batteries in 2020? Samsung X Cover Pro and LG V20. I don't even... LG V20. Is that a removable battery? Huh. LG V20. LG V20 is from September 2016. What are you talking about? Samsung X Cover Pro. Oh, this is old. Huh. Oh. Just at iPad Rehab said you wear dress pants at the gym. Is this true? I have. Yes, I have. I have deadlifted 365 wearing Dockers. That's right. or khakis. You know, what I try to do is I try to understand where they're coming from. Now, I don't like Donald Trump. I mean, I find it particularly hysterical that most people that hate New Yorkers and think that they're brass and that they're rash and they're assholes and they're too self-important find a multi-billionaire real estate mogul who lies about real estate and other shit to be their hero. I think I can't understand it in many ways, but I don't know what it is, and I think that Myers-Briggs stuff is complete bullshit because they ask questions that have what-if answers. Now, they have questions like, they'll ask you questions like, do you feel in a party? Do you feel comfortable here or there? Well, what type of people am I around? Are they interesting or are they boring? Are they judgmental or are they nice? Do they find Myers-Briggs is a crock of shit in my opinion, but I find it interesting. But I'm not going to say, well, that person must be stupid. That's why they thought that. Maybe that person has something they can teach me. Maybe even if they voted for a reason I think is incorrect or weird, it's hard to say because you had such a fucking horrible choice on the other side in 2016 to begin with. Maybe, just maybe, they have a different set of priorities than I do. And because they have a different set of priorities than I do, they see something else as more important than I do. And that's what led them to why they voted the way they did. I try to meet people where they are rather than where I am. And you learn something that way. And you also have a better chance of changing their minds that way. If I just go up to people that don't think right to repair is wrong or bad, and I just say, you're an idiot, then this is not going to happen. And this is something that I really wanted to do a video on, but I was just kind of tired, so I decided to laugh at customs instead. But this is what happens when instead of saying to someone that they're an idiot for thinking the way they do, oh, by the way, here's where I'm coming from, tell me what you think. This is what happens. You take someone who thinks, screw that guy, and you actually get them on your side. And I've tried to do this on Reddit for the last several years when I talk to people who have a different opinion than I do. I try to not default to the you're evil or the you're stupid. And here's the thing. I may wind up eventually thinking that. But what does that get you? What does that get you? It doesn't really get you anywhere. I talk to people that think that it's great that Trump won who want to vote for him again. And I know people that think if he wins again, that this is going to turn into Nazi Germany. I learned something when I talk to each group of people. And I try to give each one of them perspectives on why the other person may think that. But these are times where at some point I will be at a point where I will not be able to be friends with both of those individuals. At some point, this will be a country where I cannot be the friend of you and you at the same time. And I won't be able to understand why you think the way you do and why you think the way you do without being called evil. We're probably already there, but... Not to bother you, I don't think you answered my question, but skimmed it. What was your question? Let's see. As a repair technician, how does it make you feel knowing there are phones with removable batteries? I did. You said the V20, but the V20 is old. That is an old phone. That is not a 2020 phone. And the Samsung X Cover Pro, I've legit never heard of. I don't even know if this is new or old. Let's see. Yeah, that came out in 2020. Okay, so I'll give you that one. But is this really, does this really have a removable battery? Let's see. I would be curious to see how this sells. I would be curious to see how this actually sells. Because then you get to figure out if people care about removable battery. But I don't even know if this has removable battery. Let's see. Oh, quickly move and replace your battery. Yeah, so this is interesting. This phone's been out since what, January 2020, and I didn't even know it existed. Why? Why did I not know this phone existed? Because That screen is gigantic, though. I don't know how I'm going to be able to use that in my hand. I'm glad someone's making it. I'm kind of curious if it's liquid resistant. Boxers or briefs? Boxers. Love your work. Keep fighting for a good fight. They win when we give up. Yes. Someone said you can argue facts as much as you want, but some people won't listen. It's not even that. It's about which set of facts are more relevant based on your priorities, based on what's important to you. Like if I talked to someone who lived in New York through the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, back when if you walked down the wrong block, you were just going to get the fucking shit kicked out of you, and saw, places getting robbed and burgled constantly, who finally left New York and moved out, and then they see, riots or looting or something like that happening, and people marching through the streets of their suburbs screaming death to America, whatever, on television. I get why you may be more likely to vote for Trump. And if you're someone who is a minority, who's been harassed by the police on a regular basis in your community, I've employed someone who said that they got harassed, like they got tossed up against the wall or something like that, because this old couple accused someone that looked like him of doing something, and they never apologized. I could understand why you would be someone that says, you know what, I'm going to side with the person that wasn't screaming at the football players for taking a knee, because that's important to me based on my personal experience. And I remember talking to him and saying, if they probably apologized to you that day, you probably wouldn't feel the way you do now. He's like, yep. People are going to vote the way they vote. It's not even necessarily based on facts. Like, what is the priority to you? What matters to you? What issue resonates with you? What hits you? You have nothing better to do than to type that at midnight. Bye-bye. Thoughts on this fire cause? Why the hell are you putting a bit.ly link that I'm not going to be able to remember in this? I have to type it before it goes off the screen. This is confusing. This electrical transmission tower has a little problem. Can you spot it? It's not a small problem. It causes $16.6 billion and caused the deaths of 85 people. Huh. I'm stupid. I don't get it. Jesus. Note to self, don't live near this tower. Did you watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix yet? No, I have not. No time to watch anything. Fighting with you for right to repair from Long Island. Many thanks for years of expanding my business. Thank you, PC Zone 318. I wish you the best of luck. Give Justin M a run for his money. I love you, but you didn't answer my question. I'm getting a lot of that. I think You said boxers or briefs, and I said boxers. I apologize if you don't like boxers, but that is my answer. It remained my answer 5 or 10 minutes ago, and it remains my answer now. Boxers.
Or boxer briefs.
You think Trump will get reelected? I don't know. I really don't think he is, but I also think that because of how vulgar and stupid he acts on Twitter, that there's a lot of people that are not going to say in a poll if they actually are going to vote for him because they don't want to deal with the blowback. So there is a good chance of there being way more support for him than people anticipate, but I still think he's leaning towards losing. Is a hot dog a sandwich or a taco, and explain why? A hot dog is not a sandwich or a taco. It is a mystery meat thing that shouldn't exist, and you shouldn't eat them. What do you think about quitting a part-time job that you don't like to focus on your own business? I think it's a great idea if you believe you have a chance for your business to make more money. The part-time job, especially if you don't like it and it's for a company you don't like, may wind up being dead end, and that could be a very good thing for you to do. Just be honest with yourself about whether or not you actually have Seinfeld by far. Seinfeld kicks the shit out of Friends. Fuck Friends. Seinfeld. Do you think metro areas will recover post-COVID? Depends on your definition of recover. If your definition of recover is be the same as before, no. If your definition of recover is maybe the people that work there will actually be able to afford to live there, maybe. We'll see. There's most certainly going to be a reckoning coming to these areas as the tax revenue leaves from all the people that left. But there's also going to be a revitalization when all these $5,000 and $10,000 and $20,000 apartments go back to being $1,500 to $4,000 apartments at some point. Are you kidding? Trump has way more people on his side. No, I'm not kidding. I think that Trump has more people on his side than polls let on, but I don't know if that's enough that he will actually win. He's really good at doing really stupid shit that ruins his chances of re-election, saying and doing stupid shit. However, he is running against someone who has dementia, whose vice president is ridiculously unlikable as a human being. So it's really hard to say. It's a close race because you got really shitty candidates. Technology is widening the gap between our perception of reality. In reality, the division we're seeing is inevitable. Do you think it can be reversed? I don't think it's technology that's doing it. People have been divided for really long periods of time. I think maybe we just kind of grew up in the 90s, and if you grew up in the 90s, you kind of forget what it's like because you grew up during a peaceful time period, more peaceful time period. People were more on the same page in a lot of things. Trump is ending the Middle Eastern wars. Is he, or is he just doing that bullshit thing where he says we're getting out, so he brings the troops from like 8,000 to 3,000, and then he brings them back up to 7,000 later? Because like yo-yoing the troop numbers is not the same thing as actually ending something. I don't think that Trump or Biden has the actual authority to end anything there. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they walk up to you when you get office and they say, yeah, you know all those promises you made about ending wars? Well, here's what's going to happen to you and everybody else if you actually do that. I don't know what it is that actually happens, but I don't think the president has that authority. I think they have that authority, or they in theory have that authority, but they don't anymore in practical reality nowadays. Trump is behind Biden in key states at the moment, just like he was with Hillary, but he's behind a smaller percent in all those than he was with Hillary. Correct. However, you also must take into consideration that when Trump won in 2016, he had less votes in the states that he won than Mitt Romney had when Mitt Romney lost those same states in 2012. He did not win because of a galvanized base. He lost because of Democratic voter apathy. Please take my internet monies and fight the good fight. Also F Apple, also de Blasio, and I don't know, most other politicians. Yep. Lewis, that's what every administration does. Yes. This guy just doesn't get it. Just doesn't get it. He doesn't agree with me. Yep. Shout out from Khaki Vision and Nevi Dog. I'm very careful reading these words because I got tricked a long time ago into reading something I shouldn't have read because I used phonetic spelling. I work at Geek Squad in Jacksonville and have recommended you multiple times. If you see any Macs from Jacksonville, I hope they are fixable. Thank you, Hunter. One of the best technicians that I know lives in Jacksonville. Is Lewis reading chat? No, he's not. He's talking to himself. I talk to myself for several hours at a time. The thing is that when I hit the record button, somehow I'm able to monetize it. If I made this country any nicer, you couldn't afford it, everyone in Congress. Yes. You can fix underlying issues in American politics that drive corruption, extreme partisanship, and terrible policy, including the problems with the right to repair. Look up the cardboard box reform. Effective anti-repair on new generation innovation. Well, there'd be a lot less innovation, and less people would be involved in repairs, so they would not learn the skills required at a young age. They wouldn't be able to pass it on to their kids, and it would eventually die. Cardboard box reform. Cardboard box reform, one solution under representation and starts eliminating money in politics. The one website that comes up first on Google doesn't even work. What the fuck, Google? I love your videos. Why, thank you. Sleepy. Time for me to get out of here. See you all later. Sleepy time. Bye. XOXO.
Little kiss.
There was a post on Reddit where someone said Trump supporters don't care if he's doing a good job or not. All they care is he's annoying the enemy. I think that's right. That would be a sad place to be. Sometimes I wonder how that first letter of USA is doing nowadays. It kind of feels like someone wrote the word united there as a meme. What's your opinion on www.betterbike? Shit, I'm getting drawn back in. I was going to go to sleep. Damn it. Let's see. I need to go to sleep. What the F is this? What the fuck is this? What the that you $10,000 for this piece of shit? No, fuck that. That's got to be a joke. You're kidding. It's cute, but like fuck out of here. All right, I got to go to sleep. That thing is cute though.
I like it. It reminds me of
Which news agency do you watch? The one that reports facts with the least bias. There's no such thing as reporting facts without bias, because the facts because people, okay, let's say they say, I'm only reporting facts. Okay, but what facts are you covering? What are you choosing? Like, what are you choosing to focus your time on? That in and of itself is going to be based on your bias. There's no such thing as no bias. You got to read as much shit as you can. Take in as much stuff as you can and try to verify that whether or not it's actually correct. Anyway, I'm out of here. I want to go to sleep. Who do you think is worse, Razer or Apple when it comes to laptops and support? Oh, that's hard. Oh, that's hard. Yeah, Razer sucks pretty bad with their support. From what I've heard from a lot of users and some of the defects and some of the... Razer sucks pretty hard. Apple sucks pretty hard. Apple has the money to be able to offer better support than Razer. But that doesn't mean Razer doesn't suck. Don't let extremists fool you. We are united, says Tom Leach. You know what? I will end the stream on that positive note. Don't let the extremists fool you. We are united. United! And remember, if there's anything we get out of here, it's that it doesn't matter how people are talking in the beginning. If you find people saying shit that's so mean that they wind up deleting it because it's just ridiculously evil sounding, someone can really dislike you, and all it takes is engaging in a conversation in a rational and respectful way to get someone to understand that maybe you have a point and maybe consider what it is you have to say. I think it would be helpful if we did this a lot more often. I'm going to try to hold myself to that standard. I'm pretty bad at it myself, I'll be honest with you. But I'm going to try a lot more often, you know? I'm going to try a lot more often. I'm going to try to understand. And just read some of my old Reddit posts. Read what I'm replying to, even back 3 or 4 years ago. Even when people really hate and disagree with everything I have to say, I'll try to have a rational conversation with them. I don't assume that you're a bad human being because you disagree with me. I'll just assume maybe you have a different set of priorities, maybe you have a different life experience, and I'll try to understand it a little bit. I fail. I often fail. But I'll try. Anyway, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm dead. I'm tired. I'm sleepy.